I created the YouTube channel as a way of like, hey, I want to ask you guys questions. What kind of info do you have for me? I've told people for years that I'm a handyman, but technically I'm not really a handyman anymore. I'm a handyman business owner. We've been able to make a big difference and a big impact here in our community with our local handyman business, but the coaching business has really allowed me, the coaching business and YouTube has allowed me to touch other handyman all around the world, which I'm incredibly blessed. I wouldn't be able to do it without my team here at Honestly Handyman, at the local handyman business. Like, without the team here, guys that actually want to make a difference and they really care about the work that they do and they care about the clients, like, I couldn't do any of this without them. So our mission at Honestly Handyman is to provide hope. Hope for a better experience, a better service, and a better community. There's more to this, like, than just some guy talking into a camera. Like, this is making a difference. When you create content every single day, you get into this place of wanting to create something that's just going to blow people's socks off, right? You see all these videos going viral.
Welcome to the Built by Me podcast. Today's guest, Alan Lee, is the owner of the Handyman Journey. He has over 55,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's the author of 3 handyman business books. He's coached hundreds of people, and he's been married for 11 years and has 3 children and still manages to grow his business and have a great work-life balance. We talk about a lot of great things in this episode, including how you can have a good work-life balance, how you can be a lifelong learner, and how to surround yourself with the right people to keep you moving forward. So without further ado, let's get on to the episode.
Hey, Alan, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to hear from you, your stories, your experiences. Yeah, dive right into it. So welcome to Built by Me. Let's dive right in.
My first question is about your entrepreneurial journey. So what inspired you to transition from your handyman side hustle, as you call it, into your full-fledged business that you have right now? Or what was that aha moment that made you think this is something that I could do full time?
Well, yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Super excited to be here. Yeah, so I started up this business part-time in 2016. You know, I really just found a lot more kind of value out of the work that I was doing rather than what I was doing at my 9 to 5 every day. I used to be an auto mechanic, so that's what I did. I went to college for that, did that for many years, but was just looking for a way to make extra income and also do something that was a little bit more satisfying. So I started doing this in the nights and weekends. And then I also, at the same point, started getting involved in business seminars. And I think going to those business seminars really gave me the know-how to actually take this from something that's part-time, I'm doing on the nights and the weekends, to something full-time. And then it kind of kept growing from there, just kind of as time went on, you know, kind of jumping ahead probably. But basically, you know, after starting up this business, I was watching a bunch of other people on YouTube. So I'm like, that'd be kind of cool to create some YouTube content. So went ahead and started creating YouTube videos, and that just kind of more fueled the passion. And then now it's turned into something entirely different than it ever was, where it's kind of like I want to help grow this handyman industry to something that it's currently not at. You know, I want to take the industry to kind of where the plumbing and HVAC industry is right now, and even beyond that. So it's kind of like the aha moments keep coming. It's, you know, every day I'm kind of, you know, reinvigorated on my mission for kind of this handyman industry.
Right. That's
so
cool.
awesome.
Did you, when you first started out, was it intentional, or did you have the mindset in the back of your head that you wanted to start creating content for YouTube? Or was that just as you stumbled across it, you said, oh, I had a lot of good nuggets to add to this conversation. Let me start this myself as well.
No. So when I first started out in this business, you know, I had been doing handyman work for friends and family for years before, kind of my whole life. But I started this business part-time as kind of a way just to make extra income. And so no intention of kind of sharing my thoughts. And in fact, like, there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. You know, I had replaced, you know, kitchen faucets, dishwashers, things like that for family and friends, but I've never done it for actual clients. So the whole thought of creating the YouTube channel was really to get people that were like-minded, that were maybe a few steps ahead of me, getting them around me. And so, like, I created the YouTube channel as a way of like, hey, I want to ask you guys questions. What kind of info do you have for me? And then it kind of turned into a lot more than that. So I definitely did not have any of this planned. You know, it's a testament. There must be someone out there looking out and that has a greater plan than me, because I definitely did not have a plan. And it's turned into turned into something great, something more than what I would have ever imagined.
Oh, I love that. You're like a lifelong learner.
That's really cool, actually, super inspirational. Could you like so reflecting on that, could you maybe walk us through if there was like a pivotal moment or decision that you made that had that, impact on the growth and the success that you've had within your handyman space?
Yeah, so I think it kind of stems back to, I guess I'll attribute it to my mom. She always told me that you could be anything you want. You can do anything you want as long as you try hard and you just keep doing it. So that's kind of always been my philosophy, is looking at what other people are doing, people that I deem to be successful, and how'd they get there, right? They got there through hard work. They got there through doing the things that they didn't necessarily want to do, doing the things that were hard and probably not fun, but they knew that that's what needed to be done in order to get the future success. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do that. So it's been a bunch of pivotal moments just throughout my career of learning from different people. One of the biggest things that has kept me motivated and kept me moving forward isn't so much myself, but it's surrounding myself with those other people that inspire me to do better. So one of the biggest things is hiring a coach has been massive for me. I've had a coach pretty much the whole time I've been in business, and they've been different. There's been different coaches throughout the years, but I think it's very important to get a coach because I kind of know what needs to be done, but maybe I just don't have the proper implementation skills or the motivation to, do what needs to be done. So by hiring a business coach, it'll help you. It could even be someone behind you, give you a little kick in the butt to help you move forward and let you know what you need to do next so that you can keep moving forward. So that's been probably the biggest pivotal thing that I've done throughout my career, just to continue moving forward and continue that steam going, is by hiring business coaches. And they've helped me every time I've felt kind of stagnant in the business. I've hired a business coach and they've helped me kind of get over a hurdle and move on from there. It's been really fantastic.
So how did you kind of realize that you needed a business coach? Like what kind of got you to that decision? Because that's very interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think it stems from the very first business coach I had. So it kind of starts from like the ethos story or the beginning story of the handyman business. So my wife was part of an at-home business, and we were kind of pestered by people in her business to go to this business seminar for probably a year, maybe 2 years. And we kept saying, nah, we don't need that. We don't need coaching. Like, we're good. We don't need any of that. And they kept pestering us. So finally we're like, okay, we'll go to this stupid event and just to shut you guys up. So we bought tickets to the event, and we bought the tickets on a credit card because they weren't super expensive by any means, but they were more expensive than what we could necessarily afford at the moment. So we put it on a credit card. And so what I thought is, man, this is going to be worthless. Like this coaching thing is just going to be like a get rich quick scheme, and it's not going to be good. So I need to figure out a way to pay off these tickets. So what I ended up doing, I was talking to my wife, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out a way to bring in extra income to pay off these tickets that are going to be worthless. So I created a flyer and basically offering handyman services because that's what I knew how to do. And so I started offering handyman services in the nights and the weekends, and man, I just quickly fell in love with that. And another caveat to that is, I asked for some time off work to go to this business seminar because we had tickets to it. And my boss at the time said, no, you can't have the time off. And, I don't really like being told no to, I'm kind of more like free spirited. I've learned lately that I am virtually unemployable. Like I just don't, I don't work well with a boss.
It's that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. So I think going to this first event was super powerful, and it really helped me discover that I don't have all the answers myself, and I need to surround myself with people that are better than me, a few steps ahead of me, someone that can basically give me that, not the information that I need, but the motivation that I need. And they also have a whole bunch of information as well. So that was kind of the first step into business coaching, was going to that first business coach and just realizing that I really did not know as much as I thought I knew. And every single time I've hired a coach after that, I've realized that I don't know as much as I thought I did.
That's awesome. No, it's important because I think as an entrepreneur, it's always easier to learn from others who have kind of walked in the similar steps that you're kind of walking in. So yeah, I applaud you for that. That's actually good feedback.
Yeah. So Alan, you're actually a coach yourself, right?
Yes, I am.
So you've done a lot. You've been a handyman, you're a coach, you do YouTube. Are you still doing all three of these?
Yeah. So by and large, I mean, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was asking me, we were talking a little bit about what I do, right? And I've told people for years that I'm a handyman, but technically I'm not really a handyman anymore. I'm a handyman business owner. So probably for the past few years, we've gotten our business to a point where I don't really go out and do the work anymore. Especially now because we've actually hired a general manager that basically runs the whole business. So I'm pretty much completely separated from the day-to-day work that's needed for the handyman business. All I really do is marketing, finances, and company culture. And so that's kind of that. Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot, but not a whole lot of stuff day to day. So that frees me up a lot more to do more coaching. So I've been a business coach now for quite a few years, and it's really allowed me to focus more on my YouTube, my coaching. We have a set aside coaching program called the Handyman Academy, where I walk people through anywhere from starting up a business to growing their handyman business with employees. So basically their business can run without them. So that's been kind of the progression of that. But yeah, I do a whole lot of other things too. I have a whole lot of other businesses, but I'm not hugely involved in the handyman industry or in the handyman business anymore, but although still doing finances, marketing, and company culture. So it's a lot, but it's way different than just one guy going out there and, getting in his truck every day and going and fixing houses.
Right. And you've done that too. So you've paid your dues. You've kind of done that. So you understand, that side of the business, and now you're kind of at this side. So how do you think these additional aspects like YouTube and coaching have complemented or contributed to your handyman business?
Yeah, I think they've contributed a lot. I know that there's some clients that find us on YouTube. We have a lot of specific videos that are like evergreen content made to help people fix their home by themselves. Like we have videos about how to fix your garbage disposal, how to convert your CFL light to LED, how to replace your dishwasher, things like that. And we've had clients reach out to us and like, hey, I was looking up on YouTube, I found, your video on how to replace this dishwasher and it looks pretty hard. I just want you to come over and do it. So we have gotten clients from that. But by and large, I think it's helped grow the handyman industry as a whole, nationwide, worldwide, which has been really fantastic because we've been able to make a big difference and a big impact here in our community with our local handyman business. But the coaching business has really allowed me, the coaching business and YouTube has allowed me to touch other handyman all around the world, which in my mind is like huge. And it's like creating a great legacy, creating a great impact for the world, and just helping a lot of other communities out there that wouldn't normally get that kind of help. So that's kind of what, spurs me on with the coaching.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting. So how do you do it? Like, how do you manage, like, what's your work-life balance look like? You know what I mean? Like, obviously we've heard you talk about like how important it is and managing work-life balance, but you seem like you're juggling a lot. So how do you let us know how you do it?
Well, I've just learned how to clone myself. That's how I've done it. No, no, it's been a challenge. So up before the middle of September of this year, I was in the office 5 days a week and basically, busy 8 hours a day, working on coaching, working on YouTube videos, also, meeting with our employees and things like that. But now my life has quite drastically changed within the last 8 weeks. We moved up one of our employees to general manager September 1st of 2023. And in about the middle of September, we found out my wife is pregnant with our third kid, which is fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Like super excited for that. She's had really bad morning sickness. So so bad that, she's just like in bed. And so I made the choice middle of September to take time off work. So like I haven't been in the office for quite a while now. It's been almost 8 weeks where I've been at home. I'm kind of transitioning to this stay-at-home dad phase. And it kind of makes work a little bit trickier. Basically, I'm still doing a challenge on YouTube. I kind of started this challenge where I'm doing one video a day for 100 business days.
Wow.
And currently I'm on day 62.
Wow.
And that's made it a little bit harder being at home. But basically I do YouTube videos and things like that after the kids go to bed. So right now, my work-life balance is mainly, like family. Like I haven't really been doing a whole lot of work, which has been really cool. And I've really come to enjoy the freedom because like I'm getting to spend so much time with my kids. Like it's so fun and it's been really exciting. And now me and my daughter, we started up our own other YouTube channel where we're creating like kids videos and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know how I do it. People have asked me that before and I'm like, well, I just do it, like, I don't know. Maybe I have an Energizer bunny inside of me, but
That's the drive.
I'm incredibly blessed. I wouldn't be able to do it without my team here at Honestly Handyman, at the local handyman business. Like without the team here, guys that actually want to make a difference and they really care about the work that they do and they care about the clients. Like I couldn't do any of this without them. Like it's really fantastic being able to have this handyman business set and the systems and processes in place so that I can have the freedom to, basically do what I not only want to do, but what I need to do. And right now I need to be home to take care of my wife and my kids. And to me, it's just a huge blessing that I'm at that point in life where I can do that. And I attribute that to surrounding myself with people that see the world the same way I do. And also surrounding myself with coaches that make me better each and every day.
I think that's a lot of the story for a lot of entrepreneurs. There's always that joke of I quit my 9-to-5 to work 24/7. And everyone's always like, oh, when you're building a business, it does take a lot of time and energy and you have to really focus on it to scale it up. But then you want to get it to a point where you're building it for something. You're building it so that you can have this opportunity to, split that work-life balance, do the things that you want to do and outsource for the things that maybe you're not as strong at, or maybe things you don't want to do anymore. You can start to outsource them to other people. And that's something that I think you've done really well. And part of your coaching is also to teach other people how to do that really well so that you don't have to work 24/7 and you have the opportunity to, even like you, when life comes up and you have to, focus a little bit more on one thing versus another, you have that opportunity to do that. I know that for a lot of entrepreneurs just starting out, that might seem like it's impossible, but it definitely is something that you can work towards and grow with. And so do you think that hiring your team was the main part of getting that freedom to have that work-life balance, or do you think it's more delegation or managing that team? That also comes with its own difficulties as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is creating systems and processes so that they know what to do if something doesn't go according to plan, because that's always the biggest kind of pushback I hear from other handyman is, I'm afraid to hire someone because they don't know the business like I do.
Yes.
They don't know how to do the work like I do. And that's completely true. You're never going to find someone that is you without cloning yourself. So the biggest thing that you can do is create systems and processes in your business so that basically your business runs on those processes rather than the people.
Right.
And the people look back to those processes to figure out how to do the next step, basically. The number one book that I would recommend for anyone wanting to make that step is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. The E-Myth Revisited was absolutely pivotal for my business career. I would say that he's definitely one of my coaches for sure. Like he has been very inspirational in the fact of creating those systems so that my business can operate without me. It's just some of the ways that he describes creating systems and looking at other business models and dissecting them and figuring out how they work. Absolutely fantastic. So it's kind of like taking that the thought of how McDonald's is created, right? You can hire any high schooler and they can make a cheeseburger just like any other cheeseburger that you get at McDonald's. That's exactly what you need to implement in your business. And once you do that, you can, in a sense, clone yourself, not necessarily maybe your skills, but you can create that kind of character built into the business model that your employees follow. And that's really, at the end of the day, what it is not everyone knows everything. Not everyone knows how to, do all the same skills. But if you have that character built into the business and the systems and the processes, The rest of the stuff will just figure itself out. People will figure out how to do the work, and you can train the work. So that's really been something that I've focused on heavily, especially with hiring employees, is you hire for the character, not the skill, because skill you can train, but you can't train character. If someone has a bad character, a bad just way about them, you can't train that, but if someone doesn't necessarily know how to use a circular saw, you can train them how to do that. So it's kind of getting those priorities straight, understanding that you're not always going to find the right person. There's going to be a lot of hiccups down the road. You might hire someone that, messes up a job. That's just how it is. I mean, I've messed up jobs before. You got to have grace for people like that. So I would definitely attribute the growth that we have in business to the systems and processes and the people that we've been able to find to implement those systems and processes. And that's really what I feel really blessed to be able to help teach other people through my coaching how to implement those same systems and processes so that they can make a difference and ultimately find that freedom. It's pretty amazing.
And Alan, was there a time when was there a moment, I guess you can say, when you got to there and you said, okay, I need to grow my team, I need to expand, like I can't keep doing this myself? Like what because like for the listeners out there that are wondering, like, what, this sounds great, but am I ready for that? Right? Is what would you say to that?
Yeah, so I think that the moment for me, it was kind of a wake-up call. I remember I was advertising, so I had a bunch of work coming in. I was doing great work, but I knew it was a problem, but it was kind of one of those things I just shoved in the back and didn't think about it. Is basically people would call me all day because I was advertising, so people would call me and it would go to voicemail. And then at the end of the day, I'd be like, okay, I need to check my voicemail and get back to these people. Well, I wouldn't. Something else would come up, like, you got to go home, you got to eat dinner, whatever. And, 8 o'clock at night, you don't really feel like calling people back. And then 2-3 days, a week, a month would go by. I still didn't call these people back. And I'm like, well, I can't call them back now because it's been a month. Right. Like, that would be ridiculous, So, and then what really was like a punch in the gut, I remember seeing it on Facebook one day, is someone recommended me on one of the Facebook groups, and someone else commented on that. He says, don't call Honestly Handyman. He does not call you back. And wow. I'm like, no. For me, that was like a wake-up call. It's like, holy cow, I got the reputation of someone who doesn't call people back. Like, that's horrible. I don't want that. So that was like a huge eye-opener for me. And I realized that, okay, I need to figure out a different way to do this. And then that's when I got involved in reading Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth Revisited. And I'm like, okay, I need to implement some of these systems and processes. And the one thing I'm really struggling with right now is answering the phone. As easy as it seems, answering the phone is super hard because you're actually the one doing the work. So my first system that I created was a system for a CSR, a customer service relations personnel. And it was just like, by the grace of God, it was amazing. One of our friends from church, her mom has been a stay-at-home mom her whole life. And now her kids were kind of out of the house, and she was looking for a job, but she didn't want to work. She was like picky about it, which was great. It ended up working perfect. She's like, I want to work in the house. Like, I want to stay home because, her husband was about to retire, and she didn't want to work all the time. So it actually worked perfect for us. So we're like, wow, this is great. She didn't know a whole lot about the construction industry, but she loved talking to people. Like, she's been really involved in the women's ministry at church her whole life, just a great communicator. So we ended up setting her up with a laptop at her house, and we hired her, I think, for 15 hours a week. And she was our CSR, working from home about an hour away from our shop. And she answers all the phone calls, answers all the emails, and just absolutely fantastic. And I think that was the pivotal moment, was kind of that punch in the gut where I realized that I was getting a bad reputation. And it was because I couldn't do everything in business. I think people think that they can do it all, but at the end of the day, you can't. Like, I'm a handyman. I am not a receptionist. Like, I'm not good at answering the phone. I'm not good at calling people back. I'm also a handyman. I'm not a marketer. So I always say, like, people need to outsource their marketing. Just a quick little plug. One of my great friends, Jason Call, is handymanmarketingpros.com. He's been doing our marketing for the last 7 years since we've been in business. Fantastic. But so yeah, hiring our first CSR, and that was probably the moment when we realized that we needed to hire employees and grow from there. And then as we hired her, we just realized that we can really grow this thing by delegating, like by realizing that I can't do it all. So how can I create other positions in our company? And this also came from the E-Myth, is how can I create other positions in the company where people can excel at these particular positions because they're just focusing on that rather than focusing on everything. I'm over here trying to focus on everything, but if you hire people like a CSR or an estimator or a technician, they're only doing that one job, whereas us solopreneurs, we're doing everything. So they can usually do just those particular jobs way better than we can do that job because they're focusing just on that particular job. So that's kind of been the whole way that we've kind of grown this thing.
I love that story. I mean, I think it just goes to show you that, you identified a problem and you immediately kind of like found the solution to fix it. You didn't overcomplicate it in a sense, right? You didn't say, let's go build an entire team. Let's start with someone that can answer the phones so we don't miss these appointments. So I really like that, actually.
Yeah, definitely one step at a time. Speaking of reputation marketing, I'm just going to take a second to talk about our sponsor for today's podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by Nice Job. If you own a business and are looking to get 4 times more reviews and become a top-rated business, Nice Job is an all-in-one reputation marketing platform. It puts review generation, referrals, and social media content on autopilot, so you don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. Join thousands of business owners who trust Nice Job and start your free 14-day trial today. And now, back to the episode.
And we're back. Taking a little bit of a turn here, you mentioned before that you do a lot for the community and that community upliftment is something that's really important to you. Can you talk more about what you're doing for the community?
So our mission at Honestly Handyman is to provide hope for a better experience, a better service, and a better community. And those 3 things are very important to us. And a lot of the ways that we, provide a great service is through professionalism and honesty. We have a whole bunch of core values. And the other way is providing hope for our community is absolutely huge for us. And we donate to 2 different charities. One charity is Agape International Ministry, and they help free kids out of certain slavery industries and basically provide them with a better life, a much different life than they can ever get. So we provide 10% of our profit to help that. And then we also give money to a local organization called the Hope Crisis Response Network. And they help rebuild homes here in California that were damaged by the California wildfires. So, and kind of what's behind that is, we really have a heart for people that are stuck in circumstances that just happen to them. I believe that people should have that thought, kind of like my mom gave to me, is that you can be anyone you want, or you can do anything that you want as long as you try hard enough. And I believe that everyone should have that ability. And there's a lot of people that just get thrown into circumstances, right? Whether it's, Agape International Ministry, right? They help get these kids out of these bad circumstances that they were just thrown into. And then also with the Hope Crisis Response Network, these people, they're just sitting at home one day and a fire rolls through and destroys their whole house and all of their belongings. So one year we went and volunteered with them to help rebuild homes. And it was just so fantastic to hear about their story. And we got to meet with some of the people that we were actually building the homes for. And it's such an incredible ministry. So it's really cool to be able to give back. And one thing that I love about it too is I believe that it inspires generosity to our clients, because every time someone calls us to, do anything, replace a kitchen faucet, whether they know it or not, or whether they're charitable or not, they are partnering with us to literally change the world, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So really we're getting more people out there to actually help change the world than what would be originally. So our vision for the handyman industry is so much bigger than just, hey, this is a great way to make money. This is a great way to change the world. And this is a great way to get others on board to help you change the world. It's really fantastic. That's the way that I see it.
That's super uplifting. And I love how it's really in line with your business as well. So it's like the handyman, and then you're helping rebuild homes, you're helping rebuild families and people. And I think that is just really cool that you get to do something that you're passionate about. Even hearing you speak about it, seeing you speak about it is just something that you can tell that this is something that you really enjoy. And I commend you for doing that. It's amazing.
Thanks.
I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about any sort of setbacks that you've had, or maybe obstacles that you faced while building the business, and how you sort of navigated through all those. I don't know if you have any recollections of anything specifically that happened.
Yeah, I've had a lot of setbacks for sure. I think the biggest setbacks have probably been mindset setbacks, where you think you're going down the right path and then you just get kind of that punch in the gut, again. And you realize that maybe the direction you were going before wasn't the correct direction. Like, I think some of the biggest things have just been, well, aside from when you're actually doing the job, like you're actually out there doing handyman work and you think you're doing it right, or something's going, everything's going good. And then, I don't know, you nick a wire or something like just, something unexpected happens. That's always the worst. But from an actual business growth perspective, I think some of the biggest setbacks have just been like when you think you have a good employee and they end up leaving, or when you think you got a good team and then stuff slows down and you have to, let someone go. Like, it's just, it's really hard to kind of overcome those things. And just realizing and keeping that positive mindset and keep looking forward, and not really dwelling on some of the past things so much, but continue moving forward, continue getting better. So that's kind of one of the hardest things that I've ever encountered in business, is just the constant mindset, because, you'll be going good one month and then for some reason, whether you spend too much on tools or spend too much eating out, like you're struggling with money the next month. And just figuring out how to do that and how to charge correctly has been super hard. But the biggest thing is, like, we've actually created like an equation to help people charge correctly. The hardest part is, like, it's really easy to know what to charge, but then like having the mindset to actually charge that, because you're like, well, it seems like a lot of money, or, I don't want to feel like I'm ripping people off.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you don't charge what you need to charge, and you don't make the money that you need to make to actually like pay all your bills and make a profit, you're not going to be around to do this work much longer and help anyone out in the process. So you might as well charge what you need to charge. And so some of those mindset things have just been probably the biggest setbacks.
Yeah. How do you stay positive then? Like, what's your secret sauce? Like, what's the secret weapon there to keep avoiding these setbacks, or, moving past them quick? Because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's extremely hard. What I've realized over the years is that I can't do it alone. I recently joined this, it's an all men's workout group called F3. And I realized that when I've worked out in the past by myself, I don't do it. I'm just like, there's no point in this. I'm going home, But being around other men that are wanting to work out, wanting to get better, I found that I actually work out. So it's really helpful to surround myself with that. So I think those are some of the things that I do to stay positive. I mean, by and large, God has blessed me with just a positive mentality. Like, I'm a very like optimistic person, sometimes to a fault, but I'm very optimistic by nature. But what I found is surrounding myself with people has really helped. So, for instance, that YouTube channel that I talked about, I created back when I first started. I also created a Facebook community, a Facebook group for handymen, and that has over 11,000 people in it right now. It's a free Facebook group. That's been super helpful, because there's 11,000 people out there encouraging me on and just helping me kind of keep that mindset up that, hey, things might suck right now, but it will get better one day. So I think that's really the key to having a positive mindset, having a positive outlook, is surrounding yourself with other like-minded people that when you're struggling with something, they can, kick you in the butt and say it's going to be all right. There's going to be another day that will be better. And, having a good wife as well is super helpful. My wife has been such a blessing. She's encouraged me a lot in business, especially when I get down on myself. So I think there's a lot of different things that you could do to stay positive, but surrounding yourself with other like-minded people is absolutely critical to having a positive mindset. Like, so I'm in F3, the men's workout group. My wife and I, we attend church every week. We attend small group at church every week, and it's just super helpful to be surrounded by those type of people. In the areas that you want to grow, you need to surround yourself with like-minded people that are also growing, to encourage you that way.
And you mentioned I believe as well, I was watching one of your videos on YouTube where you mentioned your wife is involved in your YouTube space. How is that?
In the YouTube, you said?
Yeah, like do you have her involved? Like in what capacity, I guess, is your wife involved in your business today?
Yeah, so she's involved in the handyman business. She does the marketing for it. Well, she does social media, I guess, to narrow that down. So she does all of our social media posting. I used to do that myself, and then I kind of sucked at it. You know, I would miss a few days here, miss a few days there. So I realized I need to delegate that. And my wife is great. Like even we'll be like on vacation and she'll be like making a Facebook post for the business. You know, like
Nice.
she's really good at that. Basically, we have an online photo bank. We use Company Cam to store all of our photos. And she just goes on there, gets photos of the guys doing work or the work that they've been done, and posts them on social media every single day. And then she's also involved in other like Facebook groups where people ask for handyman and stuff like that. So she replies to those as well. That's pretty much all that she does for the business right now that I could think of. I know she does a lot. I mean, her biggest job is she's been a stay-at-home mom, and she's absolutely fantastic at that. I think one of the biggest blessings that I encountered with my wife was back before we got married. We were talking about what we want to do with our lives, and I asked her, I'm like, "What do you want to do?" And she's like, "I just want to be a mom." And for me, like that was the hugest blessing ever. Like
It's a big job.
I think that's such an important job. Like pouring into our kids is so important, way more important than any other paycheck you can make. So I just feel super blessed that she is wanting to pour into our kids more than herself. So she has her hands very full with that. But she also helps out with the business, social media marketing.
So looking ahead, what are some future goals that you have or aspirations for your business? And how do you plan to continue to keep growing?
Yeah, so for the handyman business, we want to continue growing it. We want to continue hiring employees. What that looks like specifically, I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of figuring it out as we go. But I think at this capacity, we have more room for more technicians and things like that. There's also a lot of other chess pieces that need to be moved around in order to make that happen. Like we would love to get a bigger shop, maybe even, buy a building and then have, like a gated in yard where we could keep our shop trucks and things like that. Cause that would definitely allow us to grow and scale a lot more. As of right now, we're in a 1,200 square foot shop, and this shop is packed at the end of the day because we're trying to squeeze all the vehicles into this shop, and it makes it a little bit tight. So I think that's one of the biggest things is we just need to make sure that we have the space in order to grow. So trying to manage the financing correctly so that we can make that happen in a timely manner. But also you have to balance, bringing in leads, and then you have to balance, actually doing the work and selling the work. So there's a lot of different puzzle pieces that come to play. But I think we have a really great business model foundation set up right now. So I think from here on out, we just need to continue to grow and, implementing those certain pieces, right, exactly where they need to go every step of the way. So that's kind of for the handyman business. We definitely want to continue growing, continue hiring employees, continuing to make a difference. And then for the coaching, same thing there is we have, obviously growth is huge, but we have a whole lot of stuff planned. We're wanting to do a handyman growth conference in 2024, which will be massive for the handyman industry. Basically bringing people from all around the world into one city, into one arena for a weekend, and just talking all about handyman stuff and growth, and that'll be absolutely fantastic. So, and then also with the coaching, I have a lot of other plans to write more books, and basically just to grow the knowledge that's out there in the handyman industry.
That's amazing. That's really good. Really, really cool. Okay, so I have a couple questions just in regards to your YouTube experience, right? I mean, it's you've grown a pretty large following, a pretty large base, 55,000 followers and growing. What was that journey like, and what did it feel like? Or was there a celebratory moment where you look back, you're like, wow, this is actually growing into a thing? Maybe if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting because I didn't create the YouTube video or YouTube channel to grow by any means. Like, I didn't think anyone would really watch it because I'm like, who am I? Like, just some guy from Sacramento, California, who's going to want to listen to me? And also sometimes I think I might have a little bit of annoying voice. So I'm like, who wants to listen to me? But I remember one time I hit 500 subscribers. And I think for me, that was so massive to hit 500 subscribers. And then after that, I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I remember I was down in LA going to another one of those business seminars when I hit, I believe it was 1,000 subscribers. And it was so fun. Like, I went to the beach and I ended up making like a special little video as a thank you. We did some giveaways, and I wrote, like, in the sand, I wrote 1,000, and then thank you.
I love it.
A stick, and it's just so cool. Like, I think that was the moment when I realized that, like, there's more to this, like, than just some guy talking into a camera. Like, this is making a difference. And it's just been, it's been a really fun journey, being able to help people out through the YouTube videos and YouTube channel, and also help myself out as well. It's gotten to a point where it's another stream of revenue, which has allowed me to step away from the handyman business kind of the way I have as well. And maybe at some points in my career, take less from the business so that, we can invest more in vehicles or, having technicians or employees or things like that. So having that other revenue has definitely helped. But it's just been really a fun journey, being able to connect and learn how to deliver good quality information that people actually want to hear has been really fun.
Yeah, because I've noticed you've kind of changed along the ways, like in terms of like the videos you produce, right, and the videos you create. Because you almost started with a little bit of like in the field experience, like, hey, here's me doing something and are, like, handyman related, and then here's more of you kind of behind, like in your office or in your studio, talking about a certain topic.
Right.
But I want to ask you about your 100-day challenge. You mentioned day 62 right now.
Yeah.
How's it been so far? Like, I know it's a video a day is pretty intense.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been hard at some points because, especially, like, I started this challenge not knowing that I was going to be a stay-at-home dad during this challenge. I thought I was going to be in the office. So in my mind, I had it every day. I'm going to, get here early. I'm going to make a video in the shop,
right,
and then I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to go about my day. Like, that was kind of my schedule. And then, God kind of throws stuff in, right? We never know what's going to happen. So I ended up, quickly becoming a stay-at-home dad during this challenge. And I'm like, well, I made this challenge. I made this commitment to my viewers, so I got to stick with it. I can't, I can't just not do it. So like I said, I've been doing the videos, at night after the kids go to bed. Sometimes on Saturday, my wife will, watch a movie with the kids or whatever, and I'll go in the room and make a video. So things have definitely changed a lot, but it's really, I think for me, it's shown me more of like what commitment means and like how to stay true to that commitment. It's been very interesting, and it's also helped me kind of understand why I'm doing this YouTube ultimately. Like when you create content every single day, you get into this place of wanting to create something that's just going to blow people's socks off, right? You see all these videos going viral and you're like, man, if I could just make one viral video, I'll had made it. Like that's what it's all about, And so at some point during this 100 video challenge, I was trying to do that. I was trying to create the best video ever, and go viral, but I realized that it's not about that, especially after day in and day out, hearing from the subscribers that comment on every single day. And they're like, hey man, checking in for day, 55. I really appreciate you talking about this. You've helped me out in this way. Like, I've realized through the help of my wife too, is that that's what YouTube is about. YouTube is about touching those people. It doesn't matter if you get 100 views on a video or 1 million views on a video. What matters is you're touching the people that need to hear what you have to say. And for me, it's completely changed my thought, probably within the last 20 days of like, it's not so much about getting a whole bunch of views, but it's about delivering the right content that right person needs to hear. And it's just been so cool being able to find that I'm targeting the people that are like me. I'm targeting the people that want to believe that tomorrow can be better than it is today. Like, I'm targeting people that want to make this handyman industry into something that it's not, something that it's way, something, you know, they have a vision for the future. And it's so cool, for one, realizing that the people that I'm targeting are the people that are watching my videos, and I'm making an impact on these people. It's just like absolutely huge. So I think by and large, the 100-day video challenge has really helped me see YouTube in a different perspective, where it's not so much about views, but it's about impacting people. And it's about delivering content that actually helps people at the end of the day. And it's for that, it's like well worth the sacrifice of making the videos at night. You know, it's been really fun.
That's really cool. And if you think about every view or every person as an actual person, it's amazing when you think about it. Imagine 500 people standing in front of you watching you say something. That would be so amazing. That'd be intimidating, right? But sometimes I think online we have this warped perception. We say, oh, only 500 views. It's like, only, it should not be a big, you know, like if 500 people were touched by something that you said, or were inspired by something that you said, or learned something by a video that you created, that's amazing. So, good on you for keeping with your schedule. More power for the rest of the, 38 more days. You got this. We'll be tuning in.
Yeah, it makes me think of, I think the movie's called Pay It Forward, you know, where one kid, he does a huge act of kindness, and he ends up actually dying at the end of the movie because of this act of kindness. But
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert, sorry. But they talk about the impact that one kid's action, where he did that nice thing, what that has done for many other people, right? Like, he did it for one person. That one person does something for two people. Each of those two people do it for two more people. Like, it spreads. So maybe you're only talking to 500 people right now, but like in 20 years, like, your information that you're delivering to that one person can just change their life and change the people around them. That's what I love about, like, the charitable organizations we give to. Because we're like AIM, right? We're only helping, say you could help one kid, right? One kid a year, if that's all you can do. You are taking that person from a life of slavery to giving them a life of abundance, like actual hope in life. And they can go on and affect other people, you know? And so it's so cool. So I agree with what you say, is like, we need to not be so concerned about reaching 5 million people, but we should be concerned about the 5 people that we are reaching, and we should be focused on those people.
And the numbers will get there. The numbers will follow.
They always do.
So we're coming up on time here. So just to wrap it up, if you could give your past self, the past Alan that was working the full-time job, maybe just starting off the handyman side hustle, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, I think that the piece of advice that I would give to myself, if I could go back and talk to the past Alan, would be to give up your ego a lot quicker. Because, like, even though at that point I was starting to realize that I don't have all the answers, I still felt like I knew a lot of the other answers, you know, and it wasn't till years go by that those get knocked off and chipped off, and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't really know that. So I think really having more humility would have been huge. So that's what I would have told myself, to have more humility, ask more questions, see how you can find more people that can speak into your life. By and large, I did that, but it took me 7 years to do that, right? I've gotten to a point now where I have people speaking into my life that have actually changed my life in a big way. But I think that's one really cool thing that fuels the handyman coaching, is that I'm helping people get a huge jump start. Like, I'm able to now, 7 years in, after learning all this stuff, I'm actually able to talk to those people that are just starting out and give them the type of information that I would have given myself if I could go back now. Is like, so people that choose, like, to work with me, like, we could literally shave 7 years off your, you know, learning here. You just have to, you know, be able to be humble about it and drop that ego. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, is I would tell myself to not be so full of myself, to understand that I don't know everything. But I feel like that's something you hear from a lot of people, right? Like, people in their mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s are like, man, I wish I wasn't so, like, you know, in my head when I was younger, right? So I think that's something huge that I would definitely tell myself if I could go back.
Yeah, it's definitely a message that a lot of us need to hear as well.
I love that. Alan, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for paying it forward. The Handyman Journey. Make sure you guys check it out on YouTube, like and subscribe to see more videos from Alan. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, thanks, Alan.
And that wraps up our conversation with Alan Lee, the mastermind behind the Handyman Journey. To learn more about Alan, his YouTube channel, as well as his online coaching, make sure to check out the links in the description. And stay tuned for our future episodes where we continue to dive into the world of entrepreneurship and bringing you the stories of entrepreneurs and how they built their businesses from the ground up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media at Built by Me Podcast. Until next time, keep building.